So this is your daily range. We kind of swept the highs right here. It's very likely, in my opinion, that bearish retest and we come back down here, okay? Or at least a second stab at the lows. So these are your two areas of interest if you are looking to get long. Don't get sucked up into, oh my god, it bounced. Like, yes dude, yes it bounced because Bitcoin just went down 6%. Of course it's gonna bounce. Don't put too much weight into this where it's like, oh yeah, this is the bottom and now, you know, everyone's hunted out and we just go up. In fact, I don't think that was the case. So be patient here, be patient. If this low gives out, yeah, we're probably gonna trade into the weekly area somewhere down here. I hope it doesn't go down this far, but it should come close to maybe 26. It shouldn't come down and take the lows, no, because this was where the BlackRock ETF was announced, right? You wanna see prices trade above that breakdown because that just means price doesn't care that Binance people step down, or maybe it's already priced in. All right, let's do ETH. Has notably not performed very well, right? So you look at ETH BTC, could this be setting up for a higher low? It definitely could be, right? You're looking at a level reclaim. Do I think ETH is going to be a good buy? Maybe initially, but ETH always fades out for some reason, right? Like it hasn't performed sustainably well. So if you do want to buy it, you know, these areas aren't the worst. It's not the worst area to get ETH, right? But I hope that if you're buying Ethereum, you're buying it because of some reason where, okay, I'm buying Ethereum because I'm more comfortable holding it for a longer period of time versus trading other shitcoins. Because if you're gonna trade altcoins, and my emphasis is on trading, right? If you're investing, yeah, maybe get into Ethereum, Solana and stuff instead of whatever the current weekly shitcoin is. For Ethereum, 4 hour, you want to see these lows hold, right? So it's much closer to the lows than Bitcoin was, and you want to see this 1800 area hold. So you're aiming for either one, a higher low, which hopefully looks like it's forming. Typical rule for higher lows is the down candle body is where you want to see prices stop, right? So around here, like you don't want to see this, right? This is just a double bottom kind of structure, right? You actually don't want to see prices come down here. And the reason for that is the same thing. Prices down here, you're kind of wanting to assume that people got liquidated. Nobody wants to sell right here, okay? That's something that you guys need to understand. And that's what makes it a very good opportunity to do business, right? Because if you have the option to do business and the other person has to do business, like they have to get this deal done, you have the power, right? Like you have the upper hand, you have the negotiation power. So you always want to do business where people are forced into it and you don't really have to. Litecoin, I would enter if we reclaim the 100, right? Of course, I know there are people who are trading this on the weekly. This is a terrible thing to see on a retest. You see this minuscule fucking wick right here? Like it swept the highs, right? Which means it's a predatory action to the downside. Like this is nice. This is a good retest. But when prices do this, pumps up and then it does that and then it comes down, this feels like, oh, we just set the high, now prices are going down, right? So this feels like it's punishing people who are longs. So when you look at like BCH, right, prices just continue to go up and up and up, and the retests don't involve a wick higher. It's like it just normal retest. That is much better. And I'm not saying that Litecoin can't continue to go up, because it absolutely can, but this weekly I'm not a big fan of, especially with how deep it got down into the weekly. If you're bullish, and this is a very bullish event, right? Oh my god, it's the halving, the supply increase is gonna get cut in half, then why is it that people aren't foaming at the mouth to get into this? Like, this is a very steep retest. It's almost like there's nobody standing up here to buy, or people have already bought. So I'm not necessarily a big fan of this, even though the weekly structure looks good. So maybe based on what you see, your assumption should be, yes, this is still bullish because it is in an uptrend and this is a retest, but maybe I shouldn't throw my entire fucking mortgage on this given the state that it's at, right? If we go into the 4 hour, first thing I'd want to see is a reclaim of this level if I'm even thinking about getting long, and then the point of breakdown up here would be even better. But again, that's like back into that 100 area, right? So you want to see prices really, you know, reclaim that 100. Until then, I'm not really interested right here. This makes more sense. Like 4% up, let's say you wait till 102, like, dude, it's 4%, but if it breaks up on this weekly level and it goes towards the highs right here, right? What's 4% out of 31, right? Like, your goal should just be to capture the meat of the move. It's not a big deal if you miss 1 or 2 or 3 or 4%. Let's do PEPE. Even PEPE doesn't look that good, right? So typically you don't want to see prices break out of this area and then fall back in. So maybe this reclaim, this is on a 12 hour of 16.4, or if you're on the 4 hour, you can argue a 16.3 is decent too. But yeah, something like that, right? Where you're breaking out of that range again. But overall, I don't think structure on the dailies look that bad. This weekly looks really bad, but we have 2 days and a lot can happen in 2 days. So, don't count out the market just yet. I think I would bid Pepe either at these 4 hour lows down here, which is 14.4, or I would just get the reclaim right here. Yes, I know that you could do a point of breakdown reclaim right here. That works too, but I think I would start bidding on this because usually when shitcoins show a little bit of strength like this, it's a little bit more reasonable than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is like 1%, and like this is probably a lot more than 1%. Yeah, this is like 5-6%. Up here is like 10%. Yeah, so a reclaim right here or a higher low maybe. Yeah, no, I'd be very picky with this. So like 14 something or 16s. Okay, and even then I wouldn't put a lot of money on this. So this is good. I think if you get a retest of 20 on a daily level, this is a good buy. 20 down to about 1980, so somewhere around here is a solid pickup. What you don't want to see is this: price falls back and then goes sideways right here like this, because as something is starting to pick up steam like this, you don't want to see any like lows. You see how it's just making these higher lows every time. So the moment things start to change, say it comes down here and it prints this lower low, right, and it starts to consolidate, that might be a little worrisome. And as far as targets go, you're probably targeting the upper bounds of this range. So you're looking at anywhere from 25 to 26. I don't see 22 holding, and everything else is just noise in between. Some people are targeting 36, 37. It's level to level, right? So if it goes up here and then it consolidates, I have a new position to take up here. So these two are separate positions, right? Hi Loma, can you please look at injective? On the 4 hour, it doesn't look that bad. I would cut your position if we start trading below 780. If it loses 780, this isn't good. This is probably gonna fall straight down to this next level right here, which would be maybe like 730 or something. And as far as targets go, again, pointer breakdown right here is a good target. And if you're really bullish, the top of this top. But if it comes up here, it's probably gonna go even higher, right? Just because it's undone all the damage on this downtrend, it most likely just continues upwards. Sui. I'm not a big fan of Sui. There's been some FUD with their tokenomics and the way that they handled it. I think it's most likely that this probably comes back down here. I'm not a big fan of a Sui long. I think Sui could be a good short hedge, whenever if it hits resistance, just because fundamentally there's some issues with the tokenomics and all of that. So it makes sense. But if you're asking me to just do the chart, I would target 70 cents, and if it can reclaim 70 cents, the move to 85 start. And maybe the fundamentals have changed since I heard about it last week or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, just be very careful with this. XVG. I'm sure that this will just continue to go up because it's predatory, in a sense where, everybody's shorting it, it has negative funding, right, whatever. There's a very good chance that, it squeezes up one time, so wait for the parabolic action, right? Wait for the climax if you're gonna short this. If not, it makes more sense to be long, in my opinion. I do think it's probably gonna send. You're gonna wanna wait for that climactic action. Let's do BCH real fast. So again, this was what we said we didn't want, right? This was the change in market structure where things started to look bad across the board. Like alts started to nuke, everything started to nuke, right? This is a retest technically, but look at the hunt. Look at the hunt, right? Like, I'm telling you, the wick is so small, I know, but like this matters. This really matters. So yes, you got a retest, but it's just not the retest that leads to the upside, right? Because it's very predatory. Like, they're clearly hunting people who want to get long. Okay, that being said, now that we've reclaimed this area, it looks a little bit better. I actually would take a long on BCH, and I would cut the position if we lost 273. If you want a long magic, just wait for the higher low, right? I think it's coming, and if not, take this, right? Take this, or maybe this right here. Something like this would be okay, but I would prefer this. I would prefer this.